It's a rite of passage in many a teenager's life. And for some, earning that right of way leads them here to 911 driving school in Marysville.
We're going to have limited visibility, so we're going to do a series of 2 head checks before we enter traffic, make sure that we're able to clearly see what's coming.
While much remains the same when it comes to driver's ed, a lot has changed over the years.
Now vehicles have, LCD screens, GPS systems built in, Bluetooth, sometimes even Wi-Fi for devices. A lot of vehicles are bringing in everything from social media updates, email. So there's a lot going on in the vehicles that are changing the way that we teach driver's ed.
Peter Barrett is the co-owner and driving instructor. He's also a sergeant with the Arlington Police Department.
As a police officer, we're not just coming in and talking about theory. We're not just coming in and talking about, well, this could happen. We're coming in and we're showing pictures, we're showing videos, and more importantly, we're telling real life stories about serious injury or fatal collisions that we've been on in the past, sometimes even that week that we've had to deal with, and talking about what lessons can we learn from this? How can this benefit you? How can you learn from this so that you're not the next statistic?
Barrett teaches his students to drive safe year-round, but he really emphasizes it during the 100 deadliest days of summer, between Memorial Day and Labor Day. That's when car crashes are the leading cause of death for teens.
That's the span of time, roughly 3 months, when you have the most number of drivers on the roadways. It's also the time when you have 7 of the most deadly days of the year fall within that roughly 3-month span.
Barrett says safety starts in the classroom.
So if I have oncoming traffic, at what point do I make the left turn?
Where he teaches teens the dangers of driving under the influence.
This, for instance, stimulates roughly 1 beer. How do you feel?
Different.
Your vision's disoriented, right? Okay, can you imagine driving a vehicle with those on?
I don't even want to.
But the lesson doesn't end here. He also teaches the kids about the dangers of other influences.
Go ahead and try these on.
Which one is this?
This is going to stimulate marijuana.
Okay. Wow, this is way different.
Okay.
I feel like shorter too.
Okay, so it's affected more than just disorienting your vision, right?
Oh yeah.
One of the biggest distractions they discuss is cell phones. 16-year-old Grace Oates says she makes it a rule to never let her friends use them while driving.
I have a couple friends who are glued to their phones, and it's a little scary driving with them, and they pick up their phone, and you just got to remind them that's against the law, you could get hurt.
Once they've covered the fundamentals in the classroom, it's time to put them to use on the road. And Barrett doesn't just see his students through the eyes of a driving instructor and police officer. He's a dad too, so he can relate to the concerns that parents are feeling.
We can't bubble wrap your kids, and that is one thing that we talk because, I'm a parent. My son came through here a couple of years ago, and so I got to see the other side of the coin. I got to experience the exact same thing of watching my son grab the keys, walk out the door, get in the truck, and drive off.
When it comes to 100 Deadliest Days, what is your focus and what do you try to pass along to your student drivers?
Our focus never changes from the core principles of getting our students to be experienced and prepared. And the preparedness part includes mainly knowledge, understanding you can't react to what's occurring on the roadway until you're able to identify the hazard and understand it. So for us, when it comes to the summertime, that's just amplified because we're hoping that every moment, every bit of training that we've put into them, all the education we've put into them, that now it translates to safe driving on the roads for them.
Barrett says parents really just need to trust in their own parenting skills and have the tough conversations about your expectations and their responsibility behind the wheel. 15-year-old Cade Potts says his parents have already established some rules early on.
They're not allowing me so far all the way down to Seattle, stuff like that, but they're letting me, closer to Arlington, Lake Stephen, stuff like that, friends' houses and all that. Pick up my friends, bring them to school. I can do all that when I get my license.
If you can set expectations about who they're with, where they're going to be at, your expectations about what time they will be home, and communicate with them. You know, almost every one of our students that comes through here has a cell phone.
Bottom line, you can never predict what will happen out on the road, but you can map out some guidelines to steer your kids in the right direction.
All right, nicely done. All right, go ahead and shut it off.
Now, on average,